We're officially at the end game of iOS 26.4. Apple just dropped Beta 4 for developers, and this is arguably the most important software update of the year. Why? Because next week Apple is shipping the brand new 17E and the new M5 MacBooks to millions of customers. And this is the software that has to run on them. If it's broken, the new hardware launch is broken. We're going to tear iOS 26.4 Beta 4 apart. I'm going to show you the new emojis. We are going to talk about a massive step backwards for texting Android users, and we are going to test the final fix for the horrible system data storage bug. 90.4% of you guys are not subscribed. Please click that sub button, it really helps out the channel. And if you like this content, drop a like below. Alright, on to the video now. Let's start with the installation. This is obviously a screenshot. This came in at exactly 11.75 gigabytes on this iPhone 16e. If we jump to the About section and we tap on the iOS number, the build number is 23E5234A. If you're new to Apple's beta cycle, that A at the end of the building string is a massive clue. It means that they are done adding new features. They are strictly in bug squashing mode, and the release candidate, or the final version, is coming next. The first hidden change in this A build is a brand new modem firmware update. For the last 3 weeks on Beta 3, the developer forums have been flooded with people complaining about dropped 5G signals and Wi-Fi handoff failures. If you walk out of your house and disconnect from your Wi-Fi, your phone is supposed to seamlessly switch to 5G. In Beta 3, it would hang on to a dead connection for 2 minutes. Apple pushed a massive modem update in Beta 4 to fix this exact issue. I've been driving around my city this morning trying to force it to drop the signal, and so far, it is aggressively locking onto 5G towers. If you have connectivity issues, this update is mandatory. The new modem firmware update is 2.04.03. Now let's talk about more of the fun stuff before we get into the heavy bugs. We finally have Unicode 17 emojis rendered in the OS. If you remember from Beta 1 and 2, Apple technically added the code for these, but the actual art files were missing. So if you sent someone one of them, it just looked like a weird question mark inside the box. But now they're live. Let's look at the new additions. A lot of people think Apple's designed these, but actually they have to comply with the global Unicode consortium, just like Android and Microsoft. We have a highly detailed treasure chest, a ballet dancer, a trombone, an orca, a landslide, a fight cloud, and then we have this thing. Apple's calling it a hairy creature, but let's be real, this is a Sasquatch. And we also have a distorted face. It's weird, but it's finally here. If you go into settings, scroll down to apps, then tap on messages, then go to RCS messaging like I have right here. In Beta 2 and 3, there was a beautiful little toggle that was right here that said End-to-End Encryption. It meant that when you texted an Android user on Google Messages, you finally got the same privacy and security as in an iMessage. But in Beta 4, Apple ripped out the code entirely. It's completely gone. There's no more toggle there. Why did they do this? I spent the last 24 hours digging into the developer logs and talking to some people in the tech community, and there are two theories. Theory number one, it was incredibly buggy, and a lot of testers reported encrypted RCS messages were failing to send, getting stuck on delivering, or just outright crashing the Messages app when dropping heavy video files. Theory number two, and this is a Mac Circuit cynical take, Apple doesn't want Android texting to be too good right before they launch the new budget 17E. They want that ecosystem lock-in. Either way, removing privacy features is never a good look. We hope that this is a temporary removal to fix back-end code, and it returns in the release candidate next week. But right now, green bubbles are back to being unencrypted. Now, we're going to look at some UI tweaks. Apple made a very specific change in the accessibility menu. If you had to scroll down to text and display size, right here, the old Reduce Highlight Effects toggle has been completely renamed and re-engineered. It is now called Reduce Bright Effects. Now, if we turn it on, Apple added a description underneath that reads, minimize highlighting and flashing when interacting with on-screen elements, such as buttons or the keyboard. When you turn this on, tap a button or type on the keyboard, it completely kills that bright glowing flash effect. As you see, if we tap on it, there is no effects when you do it, or when you text, there's no effects on the keyboard. But if we turn it off again, when we tap, I don't know if you could see it, the light little glow when it does it, or when you text, and it is active when you touch it. A lot of users were complaining that the iOS 26 liquid glass design language was giving them headaches because everything was so transparent and flashy. This is Apple's band-aid fix for that. It doesn't fix the transparent home screen bug from beta 2, but it helps. We also got hit with a ton of new splash screens. When you open an app for the first time in beta 4, Apple's forcing these full-page tutorials for you. If we click on Apple Music, they're giving you the playlist playground, concerts near you, and new album looks. Now, if I have Freeform, in Freeform, it gives you advanced image creation and editing, premium content, plus Apple's creativity app. So if we click continue, now we finally have the flash screen for Freeform. It's clear Apple is trying to boost engagement with their stock apps before the massive public release. Okay, we need to talk about the biggest bug fix in iOS 26 history. If you've been running the public beta, you've probably noticed that your iPhone was constantly telling you that your storage was full. For the last month, there was a big memory leak in the way iOS 26 handled caching. For things like TikTok cache, Safari website data, and Siri analytic logs were supposed to delete themselves when you close the app. Instead, they just piled up in this gray system data category. I had viewers tweeting these screenshots where system data was taking up 140 gigabytes on a 256 gigabyte phone. It was breaking devices. In Beta 4, Apple finally patched the memory leak. As soon as I installed Beta 4, the phone spent 20 minutes re-indexing the file system. Then my system data plummeted to a regular 18.58 gigabytes. It hasn't crept up back since. If you've been holding up on updating because of storage fears, this is the all clear. The nightmare's over. Now, let's talk about performance. We're gonna go into Geekbench 6. We're gonna run a CPU benchmark. We pulled 3,179 on the single core and 8,068 on the multi-core. For a beta, that's incredibly solid. The phone is snappy, the app library doesn't stutter, and 60Hz scrolling feels okay. Thermal throttling is basically non-existent right now, and the back of the phone near the logic board is staying completely cool to touch. But Apple did manage to break the battery UI. Let's look at this graph. Now, Monday is there, but Tuesday is not. Tuesday's graph is completely missing. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the graphs are there except for Tuesday's. The stats are still there at the bottom, but the graph itself is just broken. It's a tiny visual glitch, but it proves that the software is still a little rough around the edges. Also, that annoying lock screen wallpaper bug, it's still there. Hit or miss, but Apple just refused to fix it. Alright, what's the max circuit verdict? If you've already installed the iOS 26.4 beta train, update to Beta 4 immediately. The fix for your system data storage bug and the new modem firmware are absolutely mandatory for your phone's health. If you're sitting comfortably on iOS 26.3.1, don't update yet. Siri 2.0 is still missing, the RCS encryption got removed, and there's still weird UI glitches. Looking on the calendar, with the A build number, we should start seeing the release candidate drop around March 16th. Right there. Right after the iPhone 17e starts shipping. The official public release will hit your phones on Monday, March 23rd. Just waiting for the final drop. Are you guys dealing with the storage bug right now? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss my full unboxing and stress test of the new $599 MacBook Neo next week. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!